Hey everybody, welcome to a very special Bad Publicity. I'm Jameson.
Sly Squid.
Corpse Morn. TPSviper.
Today we're going to talk about Notoriety. A very awesome card. This might be one of the first ones that we are going to go clear across the board with probably good things to say.
Don't boss me. I hate it. I'm a big fan. I don't run it personally, but I can see the potential in it. I first and foremost, I love the backstory of it. They were kind of explaining it on the Fantasy Flight website. I like the fact that most runners, they want to kind of stay hidden because they don't want that. They don't want that exposure, and kind of they don't want to get jail time or whatever. But Notoriety is like, ha! I gotcha.
It's the Iron Man of cards.
Yeah. So I like that in a sense too. But yeah, it's just a really good card. I know in our meta there's a huge play for fast advancing decks, and I think that's just the way it's going right now everywhere. But this turns those decks who only have 2-point agendas into it's a real nail biter whether or not they're going to pull a Notoriety off. Yeah, you're really going to think twice of whether or not to let them into all of your servers.
Very low splash cost here, a 1. How's that making you feel?
That's making me feel pretty good. This card can quite literally be utilized by every single persona for running. You can make this work without even having to really try to make it work, if that makes any sense. This is one of those cards that's such an easy splash, and kind of put it in there and forget about it until the turn it comes up. Not going to say a long story right now, but I was completely ruined by this card, just decimated the other day by this gentleman here.
Mr. Notoriety himself.
Yeah. I didn't know it existed prior to that game, and I was just completely... it wouldn't have even mattered if I knew that had known this card existed. He ruined me. Like, I even had a handful of agendas, and he happened to draw the one that wasn't an agenda, which I was like, yay! And he's like, and score Notoriety. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. What does that do? He's like, well, I've won. Oh, good.
All right, Mike, your thoughts on this one? How many of these are you putting in? Full 3?
Well, I'm actually running 2 right now, but I might change that to 3.
I think 2 is the magic number, too.
Yeah, like I think 2 or 3 would be good. I'm personally running 2, but I love this card. And especially in a Shaper deck, I can't stress this enough, a lot of Shaper players, their first and only instinct is to build a rig, because that's kind of what they're good at, especially if we're running Kate. I'm running Chaos Theory, but even still, a lot of people get really caught up on getting that rig out, not running as much, until they have a proper rig in place. Really afraid to lose cards, especially running against Jinteki. That's the worst thing you can do, is be afraid to lose cards. Now, when you get this in your hand, all of a sudden it's basically giving you a big green light and saying, run, do whatever you can, run like crazy. Yeah. And that's what I love about it. Like, I get it in my hand, and it's honestly my first instinct to find a way to get this card to sing for me. And I even made some recent changes to my deck and added Inside Job to complement this very, very well. Mm-hmm. And I think I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but I can't wait to.
It'll work.
Yeah.
And regardless, you just bypass it.
Yeah. So, are you splashing it across the other factions?
So for me, the only reason I've mentioned in other videos that I have the 2 points that I'm kind of playing with. I strongly consider this card. The only reason I don't have it in my deck is because I am running an event-heavy deck, mainly monetary cards. So I ended up I splashed for Wildside. Wildside is kind of the downside to this card because it takes that click that you need to use to score this point. So that's just a huge downside for me. I think that the upsides that Wildside give me outweigh the upsides that this would. So
based on the way your deck is built.
Yeah, my deck is
I also run Wildside, and again, I wouldn't be able to find a use for it as long as I'm carrying Wildsides, but the deck is geared toward running with Wildside. Not so much this one, but literally everything else. Everything else could make.
But you could still see, like,
in a criminal deck for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you just again the Wildside wouldn't be in there, but then you'd. It's a balancing game where you'd score agendas faster, right? Yeah. So you're kind of doing what you're trying to do with the Wildside by drawing cards to be able to score faster.
Sneak Door Beta being the other one that really contradicts this card a lot. So I think if you're running Wildside or Sneak Door Beta, it's it's really not helping you to run Notoriety, and that's probably why a lot of people aren't running them, because they love Sneak Door Beta and Wildside so much.
Sneak Door Beta does help you. You can make a run on either or.
Oh, I thought it was
The
just
thing
only
that
HQ.
they had to make an errata about it because
Oh,
people were thinking that when you made that run, you got them both, which doesn't count. Puppies.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just only counting as a run against HQ.
Nope.
Okay. That clears that up. Sneak Door Beta is going in my deck now too.
So, for me, very powerful card. The price for one is very right. You're not digging around for points, you're controlling the points. I'm not going into the corporations hunting down an agenda point. I would definitely run 3 copies of this, and definitely going to have to give it a 6 out of 7. I feel right now, the current way this game is, this card makes you go fast, hard, right at the beginning, and you don't need to let up any steam for the rest of this game.
I don't know if I'm going to go as high as a 6. I want to do like a 5.5, but I'm not. We've decided that we're not going to do that.
You can't do it.
You
can't
can't,
round
it can't be done.
6.
I'm going to rewind, and I'm going to give it a 5. I do really like this card. Unfortunately, I can't use it.
Clash again.
Well, all his personal bias aside, I'm definitely going to be scoring this card a solid 6. There's a lot of uses for this, and there's a lot of great ways to score this quite easily, with the exception of having Wildside in your deck, which not a ton of people do because they don't like losing that action every turn, because you might not need to draw. But when you're running criminals like that, forcing yourself to draw is good because it's going to force you to use the cards you just drew, which means run.
Viper, out of 7?
Out of 7, I get the guest one, eh? The guest.
Yes.
The only one that matters here.
The only one that matters.
The
The only one that matters.
I love this card. I was saying before that it's probably one of my top 5 cards, mainly because, I mean, you get it, you run, and a lot of the times I don't think it was mentioned before, but, you know, even when you're running, and planning to score this, you could score an agenda off the HQ, you can score an agenda off the R&D, and you're even more ahead.
And worst case scenario too, on the opposite side, if you don't make that run, then you haven't played the card yet.
Yeah.
So it stays in your hand.
Exactly. It's not something you have to play before, like Maker's Eye, and if you fail, you fail. This is like, if you fail at any point in time, okay,
just
well,
save
just
it
wait
for
till
next
next
turn,
turn, right? So, and that's amazing, right?
Good point.
And the other thing is, it's a game shifter, because it really demoralizes your opponent.
Like me.
It does. It's like, you score that, and they just basically put their head down, like, that sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and that kind of mental shift of the game could be huge too. So, and those are the reasons why I love the card, and I rate it a 6 out of 7, only because my very favorite cards I'll save for 7.
You're doing like touchdowns every time someone matches their score.
Touchdown! Yeah.
I got it right.
I got it right.
If you at home voted 6 out of 7, like this video,
If you want validation, don't do it.
He'll find a way to give you a thumbs up.
I'll find you and I'll thumb whatever you have.
Whoa!
Subscribe link.
Okay. Subscribe, thumbs up, comment below, guys. Take care. That cannot go to that website.